Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Be Built by Broser. We're here out in the backyard of Mecca, which we don't do a lot, but it's a really nice day, so I figured we'd show you out here. What we have for you on today's show is actually sort of a back to basics that we've been doing, but this is going to be back to basics within the gym. Now everybody obviously does, or most people do squats as part of their leg routine, but I want to show you 4 different variations of squats that are kind of a little bit different than the basic barbell squat or a hack squat machine or a Smith squat. The types of exercises that hit the muscles a little bit differently. These are not the type of squats where you're going to go very, very heavy on. So they're either going to be for high repetitions, they will be for very, very slow positives or negatives, or something that's really, really good to superset, like with a leg extension. So we'll show you those, and then of course at the end of the show we'll have a couple of good Ask Merlin questions, and hopefully you learn something. Enjoy the show. Okay, so the first squat that we're doing here is known as a Jefferson Squat. These are still done by such bodybuilders as Kai Green. He loves these. And as you can see, he's got a wide stance. His toes are pointed out. He's got a grip on the bar kind of like he would with a deadlift. And he's squatting straight down as deep as he can. And what we're working here in this stance is mostly the inner portion of the thighs. So we're getting a lot of vastus medialis or teardrop and the adductor muscles in the inner portion of the thigh, so it helps to fill in the inner portion of the thigh and also works the glutes, the outer glutes, really well. So you want to get a full range of motion. You only put smaller plates on the bar like the 25s, otherwise the bigger plates will hit the ground. You sink down to as deep as you can, back up, and that right there is the Jefferson Squat. Okay, so the second squat we're showing you today is a barbell hack squat. This strongly engages the quads, just like a regular hack squat. As you can see, he's holding the bar behind his back. He's letting the bar pretty much go straight down behind his legs until it reaches about the height of his Achilles tendon. And he's pushing back up, trying to use just the quads. It's almost similar to like doing a deadlift with the bar behind you. His stance is about shoulder width apart. He's getting as deep as he can, keeping his back, letting it lean forward just a little bit on the way down, and then straightening as he comes to the top. Great movement, especially to superset with leg extensions, the barbell hack squat. Okay guys, here is the third squat. This is known as a dumbbell plie squat. You see a lot of the girls do this exercise, but let me tell you something. This is a great exercise for the guys too, especially when, again, looking to work the inner portion of the thigh, the vastus medialis and the adductors, to fill in that inner portion of the thigh. So he's holding the dumbbell at the top, as you can see. His legs are out wide, his toes are pointed out. And this wide stance really affects the inner thigh and the adductors. He's squatting to just before the dumbbell hits the ground. He's keeping his back as straight as he can, looking straight forward. And he's just using the power of the thighs. And then when he gets to the top, he's squeezing the glutes to get them in there as well. This is a higher rep exercise because obviously you can't hold a dumbbell that's too heavy, or a movement that you can actually go very, very slow on the way down or the way up, hold the bottom position, or superset with leg extensions. That's the dumbbell plie squat. Okay, this last squat exercise is a dumbbell front squat. I want you to see how he's holding the dumbbell on the top of his body there. He's keeping his back as straight as he can, and he's dropping down to about parallel. Great movement for the quads, and it could also be done with a plate, which I'm going to have him show you here. So it's a plate front squat, if that's more comfortable for you. So you're holding it against your chest again. He'll do a few more reps. Squatting down nice and deep. In this position, because he's keeping his back very, very straight, keeps a little bit of the glutes out of the movement and isolates the quads a little bit more. Again, another movement, you can't go too heavy, so you want to go high reps, slow tempos, or superset it with something like leg extensions, or even like a leg press, could be a compound superset. So that's a dumbbell and a plate front squat. Give those a shot. Hey guys, welcome to the Ask Merlin portion of the show. I just want to quickly address something. I think on the last episode that would be built by Broser, Dave wanted me to drive my new car in here, the new Merlin Mobile, into Gold's parking lot. A lot of people were commenting about, they're upset that I parked at a handicap spot. Let me just make it clear that I was not parking in the handicap spot. I was merely pulling in there for the first 2 minutes just to show Dave showed the car. I was pulling right out. I would never park in somebody's handicap spot. It would never happen. So now, on to the questions. First question is from our good buddy friend Justine. He asked a lot of good questions on the show. And he wanted to know, do I have any favorite proteins, my go-to proteins, when preparing somebody for a competition? And you know to hear my answer, which is no, I really don't. My preferred idea when it comes to protein, at any time of the year, but especially before a show, is to mix them up. Obviously, if you're the kind of person who only likes, chicken and egg whites and that's it, then obviously that's what you need to use. But if you're somebody who likes, low-fat beef protein, bison, other game meats, egg whites, chicken, turkey, use all the options. There's nothing wrong with mixing them up, because even though they're all complete proteins, they do each contain their own individual amino acid profile, meaning that they all are a little bit higher or lower in certain amino acids. So the more you combine the proteins, the more overall you maximize the amino acid profile in your bloodstream throughout the day. So it's not like I say you have to cut this out and not have this before a show, or that you have to have fish and nothing else. I prefer that people mix up the proteins. Now, the only thing I will say is that as you're getting closer to a show, if your cardio is already pretty much at a very high level and you're maxed out, if your calories are kind of low and you need certain ways to cut back a little bit, maybe on fats, but still consume basically the same amount of food in ounces, there may be a time you might want to substitute a red meat meal for a fish meal, or switch from chicken to turkey, because they're a little bit lower in fats and they're a little bit lower in calories. So this way you can actually come down in calories a little bit without affecting how much food you feel like that you're taking in. So that's the only time that I would say to switch around proteins. But other than that, use as many proteins as you can. Make sure to use whey protein as well. Casein is good. Like I said, all kinds of fish, red meat, game meat, chicken, turkey, egg whites. Mix them up and you'll get the maximum benefit from all these proteins by having them all in a single day. That's it. One more question. I get tons of questions on this hot topic of Sarms now, because they've just become a very, very hot product on the market. Of course, they are right now still in a gray area, but they are drugs. Were developed by drug companies, so they're not supplements. If you see them in supplement stores, that's kind of iffy. They probably won't be that much longer as the government is cracking down, but they are very popular and they're effective. And I had a pretty simple question. Somebody had asked me that they said that they have a pretty good idea of how Sarms work. They've done their research, but they wanted to know, in my opinion, what are a couple of the best Sarms out there, because there's so many now, for gaining mass. What are some of the better Sarms that are more along the lines of hardness, size, but more drier, and what are the best Sarms for fat loss? So let me start with mass. I'd say probably, from the reports, and I don't think there's any studies on this, but from the reports that I've gotten and the research I've done, there's a Sarm called LG4033, which seems to be the one that people are putting on the most muscle mass with. So if I had to sort of make a comparison to an anabolic steroid, that would kind of be the Dianabol or the Anadrol of Sarms. It seems to be that the most body weight goes on, but there's also some water retention as well. But if you're looking to bulk up and gain strength, it seems that this one, LG D4033, seems to be the one that does that. As far as putting on mass as well, there's something called RAD 140, which people also seem to gain a good amount of size from. It's a little bit more drier of a compound than the LGD, but also very, very good for mass. In terms of putting on hardness, or something that would be more likened to, say, Winstrol in the realm of anabolics, or Anavar, S4 is kind of a very, very anabolic compound, it seems, that puts on a smaller amount of mass, but it seems to harden the physique. There's also SR23, which a lot of people who are in the game of Sarms call the equivalent of Winstrol tabs. So that's another one that seems to put on kind of very dry weight and harden the physique as well. As far as fat burning, probably the best ones out there, and these aren't actually Sarms even though they're put under the umbrella of Sarms, would be Cardarine, SR9009, which basically is like very similar to Cardarine, but it's very fast acting. So they work very well together as a stack. Cardarine taken a dose, maybe 10 milligrams in the morning, 10 milligrams in the evening, and then you just want to take the SR, since it's in and out of the system rather quickly, about 30 to 45 minutes before you train, to give you that added boost. Also, MK677, which basically is a hormone secretagogue, will help to increase growth hormone levels, and growth hormone is very, very effective at mobilizing body fat. Some people have actually reported results using 25 to 50 milligrams of this compound a day as being equal to about 3 to 4 IU of taking growth hormone. Again, no studies on that. That's really just reports that people have given who have used both. So a stack of Cardarine and MK677, or Cardarine SR9009, there's so many numbers and names, it's crazy, would work well as a stack. So that's really kind of one of the basic analysis of the Sarms that we have now and what they're all good for. So hopefully that helps you out.